Imagine standing before a vast, sparkling ocean of opportunity, where every wave brings a new dream closer to the shore. That is the power of English fluency. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the ultimate secret that transforms hesitant learners into charismatic speakers. The secret isn't hidden in dusty textbooks or complex formulas. It is as simple as breathing. You must speak. While most people remain trapped on the shore, merely watching the waves by reading and listening, the true explorers dive deep and use their voice. Speaking is not the finish line of your journey. It is the very engine that drives you forward. The more you speak, the more your world expands. So presently, you will discover 10 influential tutorials about why you must communicate daily. These sessions are uncomplicated, functional, and transformative for novices. Segment 1. Communicating constructs, genuine eloquence. Now, attend very cautiously. This is one of the grandest realities in English education. You cannot turn eloquent by remaining mute. It is unfeasible. Many folks pass ages researching English. They peruse syntax volumes. They retain various terminology. They observe English recordings. But when it is moment to communicate, they paralyze. They turn anxious. They cannot articulate basic reflections. Why? Because they grasped English, but they did not rehearse chatting. Now comprehend this lucidly. Eloquence is not constructed within your diary. Fluency is fashioned through vocalizing. English is not merely intellect. English is a skill. And every expertise turns robust through exercise. Reflect about grasping to bathe in water. Can you turn into a fine swimmer by only perusing about aquatics? No. You must penetrate the stream. You must shift your frame. You must exercise again and again. Uttering English is precisely the identical. You must utilize your vocal cords. You must discipline your mouth. Practice daily now. Now, let's grasp what genuine eloquence signifies. Fluency does not denote uttering flawless English. Eloquence implies communicating smoothly, instinctively, and without excessive dread. And this only occurs when you converse frequently. Initially, your chatting will feel sluggish. You might halt in the centre. You might overlook terms. You might commit blunders. This is very standard. Every eloquent orator commenced like this, but most pupils quit too prematurely. They speak once or twice, then they feel humiliated. Then they go mute again. And muteness is hazardous, because muteness halts advancement. The more silent you remain, the feebler your speaking turns. But the more you chat, the sturdier your fluency turns. Now, here is something extremely vital today. Your intellect acquires language through iteration. When you utter a phrase many times, your brain recalls it swifter. Your mouth turns cozy. Your chatting turns mechanical. For instance, initially, even a basic phrase like, "How are you?" may feel tough. But after echoing it many times, it turns instinctive. You don't deliberate anymore. You just articulate your thoughts loudly. This is how eloquence is constructed, not in one grand flash, but in tiny daily dialogues. Now, let's discuss boldness. Many folks claim, "I will converse when I turn eloquent."
But this logic is erroneous. You turn eloquent by conversing, not prior to conversing. Speaking generates fluency. Talking generates boldness. Conversing generates advancement. Now, visualize two pupils, Liam and Sophia.
Liam researches syntax every day, but never chats. Sophia recognizes less syntax, but chats daily, even with blunders. After a few months, who will speak superior? Sophia, because conversing constructs genuine eloquence, not mute education. Now, here is a basic routine you must initiate today. Utter English every solitary day, even if you are solitary in your apartment in London now.
Chat about your day. Converse about your reflections. Speak about what you witness around you. For instance, I am resting. I feel exhausted. I desire to refine my English. Today was a hectic day. Basic phrases, but influential exercise. Now, here is another vital reality. Don't linger for flawless English. Utilize basic English, because eloquence expands from usage, not from perfection. Initially, you may feel uneasy. You may feel timid. You may feel sluggish. But if you persist, something influential happens. Your intellect turns swifter. Your mouth turns silkier. Your dread turns tinier. And one day, you perceive something lovely. You are communicating without compelling yourself. You are articulating concepts instinctively. You are relishing dialogue currently. That is genuine eloquence. So recall this influential quote. You cannot construct speaking by remaining mute. You construct speaking by speaking. Chat every day, even a little, even imperfectly. Because every phrase you utter is one stride nearer to eloquence, and one stride nearer to a fresh version of yourself. Chapter 2. Conversing eliminates dread, one of the grandest causes. Now, folks cannot speak English fluently is not syntax, it is not terminology. It is dread. Dread of committing blunders, dread of sounding incorrect, dread of being scrutinized, dread of not comprehending others. This dread turns into a barrier, and because of this barrier, many pupils remain mute for years. They comprehend English, they recognize terms, they even recognize syntax. But when it is moment to speak, their boldness vanishes, their intellect turns hollow, and they utter nothing. This occurs to many folks like Arav, so if you perceive this way, you are not solitary. But here is the reality. Dread turns tinier only when you encounter it, not when you shun it. Visualize someone who is terrified of water. If they never penetrate the pool, dread stays. But if they slowly exercise swimming, their dread starts fading. English speaking functions the same manner. The more you chat, the tinier your dread turns. Initially, your voice may quiver, you may speak sluggishly, you may feel anxious. That is entirely standard because your intellect is entering a fresh scenario. But every time you speak, your brain discovers something vital. It discovers, I endured. I can execute this. It is not perilous. And slowly your boldness starts expanding. Many pupils linger for dread to fade before chatting. But this is the erroneous method. Dread does not fade first. Conversing arrives first, then boldness succeeds. So don't linger to feel prepared. Most eloquent orators did not feel prepared in the start either. They just started. Reflect about a toddler grasping to stroll. The infant collapses many times, but the infant keeps attempting, and slowly strolling turns instinctive. Speaking English is the identical. Initially, you may battle. You may halt in the centre. You may overlook terms. But if you persist conversing, your brain turns sturdier. Your dread turns feebler. Muteness makes dread sturdier today. Activity makes dread feebler. That is why chatting is so influential. Chatting is not only exercise for English. Chatting is coaching for boldness. Every tiny dialogue counts. Even tiny phrases assist. For instance, how are you? I am fine. What are you executing? I am researching. These are basic lines, but every time you utter them, your dread diminishes a bit more. Imagine Noah. Now, visualize two pupils, Noah and Emma. Noah remains mute because they are terrified. Emma chats daily, even with blunders. After a few months, who will feel more bold? The solution is manifest. Boldness arrives from activity, not from lingering. Another vital thing is this. Most folks are not scrutinizing you as much as you deliberate. Many pupils visualize, everyone will mock me. But in truth, most folks honor effort. Most folks comprehend that grasping a tongue is tough. And even if someone mocks, that does not halt your advancement. Your destiny is more vital than someone's judgment. So never permit dread to dominate your voice. Your voice signifies. Your concepts signify. Your advancement signifies. Commence tiny. Speak one phrase, then another. Indeed. Then another. Bit by bit, your dread will shatter. And when dread shatters, your genuine speaking commences. One day, you will glance back and perceive something influential. The thing that once terrified you has now turned standard. That is the energy of speaking daily. That is how chatting eliminates dread, and that is how eloquence commences. Chapter 3. Conversing disciplines mouth. Numerous folks believe that speaking English is only about the intellect. They deliberate, if I grasp syntax, I will speak. If I retain terminology, I will speak. But speaking is not only cognitive. Speaking is also structural. Your mouth must grasp English too. Reflect about this. You may comprehend many English terms. You may recognize what phrases signify. But when you attempt to speak, your mouth feels sluggish. Your tongue feels uneasy. Your enunciation feels blurry. Why does this occur? Because your mouth is not disciplined yet. Your brain may recognize the tongue, but your mouth still requires exercise. This is exactly like grasping a sport in Sydney. You can comprehend football regulations, you can observe football recordings, you can peruse football volumes. But if you never strike the ball, you will never turn into a genuine athlete. English speaking is the identical. You must utilize your voice. You must shift your tongue. You must discipline your voice daily. Initially, your mouth may feel rigid. Some terms may feel tough. Some noises may feel odd. This is standard because your mouth is discovering new shifts. Every tongue uses mouth. Every tongue utilizes the mouth uniquely. Diverse noises, diverse tempo, diverse enunciation. So if you only research silently, your speaking muscles remain weak. That is why chatting every day is so vital. The more you speak, the more instinctive English feels in your mouth. Reflect about basic phrases like, "How are you?" "I am grasping English." "I desire to refine." Initially, speak. Initially, you may speak sluggishly, but after echoing them many times, your mouth turns swifter, your enunciation turns silkier, and your boldness turns sturdier. This is how speaking matures through iteration, through shift, through exercise. Another vital thing is tempo. English has a current. Original speakers link terms together instinctively. You cannot grasp this current only. You cannot grasp this current only by perusing silently. You grasp it by hearing and echoing. That is why chatting out loud is influential. When you hear your own voice, your brain and mouth start functioning together. Many pupils exercise English only in their intellect. They deliberate silently. They peruse silently. They listen silently. But when they finally speak, it is tough. But when they finally speak, their mouth feels weak because they never disciplined it. So don't keep English imprisoned inside your head. Extract it. Utilize your voice. Even if you're solitary in New York, speak. Chat about your chamber. Converse about your day. Speak about your intentions. For instance, "I am resting in my room. I feel exhausted today. I desire to turn eloquent." Basic phrases, but influential coaching. Perusing out loud is also very beneficial. Grasp a brief segment. Peruse slowly and lucidly. Concentrate on enunciation. Concentrate on current. This disciplines your mouth to turn cozy with English noises. Another influential tactic is iteration. Listen to a brief phrase from a clip or record, then echo it precisely. Mimic the enunciation. Mimic the velocity. Mimic the tempo. This is like workout for your speaking muscles. Initially, it may feel tough, but after daily exercise, your mouth turns sturdier, and something marvelous occurs. Terms start emerging more instinctively. You stop compelling every noise. You stop feeling obstructed. Your speaking turns silkier. Not because you turned flawless, but you have trained. Not because you turned flawless, but because your mouth turned disciplined. Now visualize two pupils, Lucas and Mia. Lucas researches syntax every day, but never speaks. Mia speaks daily, even with basic English. After some duration, who will sound more instinctive? The solution is manifest because speaking refines through speaking, not through muteness. So never overlook this reality. Your brain acquires English, but your mouth must acquire English too. Discipline your mouth every day. Utilize your voice daily. Speak even when it feels uneasy, because every phrase you utter makes your mouth sturdier, and every day of exercise brings you closer to eloquence. Chapter 4. Conversing assists you deliberate swifter. One of the grandest variations between pupils. Now, one of the grandest variations between novices and eloquent orators is velocity. Fluent orators deliberate rapidly. Novices deliberate sluggishly. Many pupils recognize English terms. They comprehend syntax. But when someone like Oliver communicates to them, their brain turns sluggish. They require too much duration to reply. Why? Because their intellect is still interpreting it. First, they hear English. Then they switch it into their own tongue. Then they deliberate an answer. Then they interpret the answer back into English. Then they speak. This method consumes too much duration, and because of this, dialogue turns tough. But when you chat in English every day, something influential occurs. Your brain turns swifter. The more you speak, the less you rely. The more you speak, the less your brain relies on interpretation. Slowly, your brain starts linking concepts directly to English terms. This is the start of genuine eloquence. Reflect about how you speak in your own tongue. Do you interpret before every phrase? No, you just deliberate and speak instinctively. That is precisely what daily chatting exercise constructs in English now. Initially, your brain may feel weary. You may halt frequently. You may hunt for terms. This is standard because your brain is constructing a new network. Every time you speak, your brain exercises velocity. Every phrase turns into cognitive coaching. For instance, someone inquires, "What did you execute today?" Initially, you may require a long gap, but after dialogues, it is fast. Initially, you may require a long gap, but after many dialogues, your reply arrives swifter. I laboured today. I researched English. I remained at home. Your intellect discovers through iteration. The more you reply to basic inquiries, the swifter your thinking turns. This is why daily chatting is so vital. Chatting disciplines your brain to respond rapidly, and response velocity is vital. Response velocity is very vital in genuine dialogue because genuine dialogues shift fast. Folks in Toronto don't halt and linger while you arrange flawless syntax. You must grasp to respond instinctively, even with basic English. Another vital thing is this. Rapid thinking diminishes dread. When your brain responds rapidly, you feel more bold. You stop overthinking. Stop doubting. You stop doubting every term. But when your brain is sluggish, dread expands. You feel tension. You turn anxious. So chatting daily assists in two manners. It refines your velocity and it diminishes your dread. Now, let's discuss exercise. A very influential routine is inquiring yourself questions. For instance, what am I executing? How do I feel? What do I desire? Reply quickly. Then reply instantly. I am researching. I feel weary. I desire sleep. Basic replies, but influential brain coaching. Initially, your replies may feel sluggish. That is fine. Keep moving. Slowly, your brain turns swifter. Your responses turn instinctive, and your English starts flowing more silkily. Another fine exercise is rapid speaking. Pick a basic subject and speak non-stop now. Pick a basic subject and speak non-stop for 1 minute. Don't halt too much. Don't fret about blunders. Just keep chatting. This compels your brain to deliberate rapidly in English, and over duration, rapid thinking turns standard. Now, visualize two pupils, Leo and Ava. Leo researches silently every day. Ava chats daily and exercises rapid responses. After a few months, who is best? After a few months, who will deliberate swifter in English? The solution is manifest, because thinking velocity expands through usage, not through muteness. So recall this influential reality. Chatting is not only speaking exercise. Chatting is brain coaching. Every dialogue instructs your brain to move swifter. Every phrase instructs your brain to respond instinctively. Go on. And one day, without even perceiving it, you stop interpreting, you stop arranging every phrase. You simply deliberate and speak. That is the flash when English starts turning instinctive. And that is why you must chat in English every solitary day. Chapter 5. Conversing refines enunciation. Many pupils desire lucid enunciation. They desire to sound instinctive. They desire it now. They desire folks to comprehend them easily, but at the same time, they are terrified to speak. This is the issue. Enunciation does not refine through muteness. Enunciation refines through chatting. You cannot discipline your enunciation only by perusing syntax volumes. You must hear terms and then utter them again and again. Reflect about melodies. A vocalist in Paris is here. A vocalist in Paris turns better by singing, not by only perusing song verses. English speaking functions the same manner. Your enunciation refines when your mouth exercises noises daily. Initially, some English noises may feel tough. Some terms may feel odd. You may pronounce terms incorrectly. This is entirely standard. Every pupil passes through this phase. The issue is fear. The issue is not committing blunders. The issue is remaining mute because of blunders. Many pupils feel humiliated. They deliberate, my enunciation is poor. Folks will mock, I don't sound like an original speaker. So they halt chatting. And because they halt chatting, their enunciation never refines. You must comprehend something vital. Good enunciation arrives from iteration. Good enunciation arrives from iteration, not perfection. The more you utter a term, the more instinctive it turns. For instance, initially, a basic term like comfortable may feel tough. You may utter it sluggishly. You may commit blunders. But if you echo it many times, comfortable, 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 slowly your mouth discovers the noise. Your tongue discovers the shift. Slowly your mouth discovers the noise. Your tongue discovers the shift, and the term turns easier. This is precisely how enunciation refines through daily chatting. Another vital thing is listening and echoing. When you hear eloquent English, your brain perceives tempo, emphasis, and noise models. Then, when you echo those noises, your enunciation turns more instinctive today. This is why shadowing is influential. Listen to a brief phrase, then echo it precisely. Mimic the velocity, mimic the tone, mimic the enunciation. For instance, I desire to refine my English. Echo it again and again. Not only the terms, but also the noise and current. This disciplines your mouth and ears together. Now, let's discuss boldness. Practice daily to be very successful.